Hey guys, it's AJ here, back with another one. So, welcome to the newest episode of the AJ Panel Podcast. You guys know me, I'm AJ. I hate the BS, and I'm just here to drop some info for you guys. And yeah, man. So, today we're going to talk about men and how basically modern men aren't going to college these days. Uh, a fewer men are even going, and even more are dropping out. And it's because you can make a perfectly good living nowadays with no debt. You know what I mean? Go to trade school and do all that type of stuff. So, you know, guys. So for those who don't know, I went to college. I have a master's degree. I make good money. But if I could go back, I honestly think that I would, choose to go into a trade or something else where I could spend more time actually working and in the field and honing my craft than time spent in school. So, yeah, I have a couple guests here, and go ahead, guys. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, so this is Kane. I've been on here a couple times already. I'm a 25-year-old Ethiopian-born, American-raised male. I have some college background, but I dropped out of that for reasons that we'll talk about later on. Um, I'm a firefighter EMT in somewhere in Maryland, and yeah, I'm excited to be back on this podcast and see what's going on.
Hi everyone, this is Da. I do a white collar job with people who are college degree and a date, and I don't have both. And I will be discussing how I get to do that.
Cool, man. So yeah, so basically my premise is that, college nowadays are a bastion of just uber left, man hating, just it's not a good environment for a lot of young men unless you get into science, technology, engineering, math, medicine, or law. Other than that, guys, just stay away. Join the military. Get your IT certs. Be a plumber, electrician, HVAC. Do anything. But right now, especially with college debt the way it is, it's just not worth it. You know, and a lot of women, they're going to school, but they're the majority of the people on the campuses, but they're majoring in these humanities. So we'll talk about also dating girls who have all the student loan debt, who might go to school for liberal arts, go to school for education, go to school for social work, and then they have all the student loan debt and then no high income skill. So first, I have a clip here that we're gonna watch, and this is talking about men not going to school. So let's just jump into this real quick. Oops.
The number of men enrolled in colleges has fallen behind women by record levels. The reasons why are many and hard to pin down, as every person has an individual story. But the data is hard to ignore. When you look at college enrollment or graduation rates historically, generations before this one told a story of men being the most likely to be on campus and graduate. In the late 1950s, 79% more men than women attended America's institutions of higher learning. But now, at the end of the last academic year, women made up nearly 60% of college students, an all-time high, according to the National Student Clearinghouse. What's more, enrollment overall has declined in the last 5 years for all students, but male students accounted for 71% of that decline. Of course, we should talk about reasons, but first, let's look at a few numbers in Minnesota schools. At the U,
And I want to make it clear, this video is like a year and a half old. Like it's like 2 years old. So the numbers as far as like female enrollment has gone up. The last time that I checked, it was like 64%. And in some campuses, like private schools, it's 70% female. So 7 out of 10 women, I mean people on campus are female. Let's get back into
the
it.
biggest campus, males make up 45% of the student body, females 55%. The exact same numbers can be found at Hamline University, which is 45% men, 55% women. At the University of St. Thomas, a bit of a difference, with their fall undergrad enrollment showing 52% male and 48% female. So back to the bigger picture. The gap between genders has been closing for decades, but the new gap of women surpassing men is widening even more when it comes to who graduates. According to the U.S. Department of Education, the graduation rate in 2018 showed 65% of women finishing with a degree, men at 59%. So why do women over-index now? Well, women's labor force entry has steadily risen since the 60s and 70s. And with that, women feeling like a degree was ours for the getting to. And choosing to get a degree, women have put off marrying until later and having kids until later.
And that's going to be the topic of another show, guys, because you guys know how I feel about these chicks waiting until they're 47 to try and have kids.
College for women became an expectation as much as it was for men. But none of that explains the biggest trend in the last 18 months. When all college enrollment dropped, it dropped off a cliff for men. In that time, 78% fewer men than women enrolled in school.
You hear that, guys? 78% fewer men.
So that drop-off during the COVID pandemic is the one that is highly individual and virtually impossible to find one reason why too. So I wonder what you think or know due to your own experience. Are men in your...
So listening to those numbers, guys, so what do you guys think? What are your reactions to this video here?
Hey, man, to be honest, like the fact that greater than 3/4 of men are not enrolling in colleges is not that surprising in this day and age. And this is why I say this, right? So like you said earlier, in fields like STEM, right? So STEM fields, absolutely required. Okay. Like those kind of things. If that's what your goal is, if that's what your passion is, especially for the young men listening to this, then go ahead and pursue that. However, if you are getting out of school, high school or whatever, think about it rationally, right? You major in something that's not going to make you a lot of money. That's insane. And I feel like that's what a lot, and then picking up debt too. I feel like that's what a lot of young men are looking at nowadays, you know?
Yeah,
I think
that cost
that's the
benefit
reason.
analysis or that
Absolutely.
return on investment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think the major decline is due to the investment itself. Because if you really gonna incur a lot of debt, and if the wages are not going up as the student loans are in the rate the student loans are going, eventually it's you know, one of the main reason you go to college is to make a living, and if it's not going to allow you to make that living that you wanted, there's no point of going to college.
But historically, one of the main reasons for going to college was upward economic mobility. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people forgot that, because if you look at most programs in schools, you know, University of Texas, they would only have engineering, pre-law, pre-med, economics, nursing, all these things that made money. But then as in the 90s and the 2000s, when all of a sudden this big push to go to college happened, they started expanding all the humanities, early French poetry and underwater basket weaving, like even things like, education or like an English degree. It's fine if you want to go to law school, major in English, fine. But in general, they pushed a degree, any degree equals success. And now it's doing the opposite, because people are going to college to go down economically because of the debt that they're incurring. So there's no upward mobility anymore, except for those chosen few who were smart about it. And guys, I'm not trying to look, the blame was on these people who did this to themselves. I'm not trying to say people shouldn't be accountable, because you should know darn well that an English, was it called a English history of art degree, isn't going to make you any money, or anything that ends in studies, gender studies, African American studies, Asian studies. It's not going to make you any money. And the only other thing that you can do with those degrees because they teach you, you know what? Hey, Kane, you can get a degree in gender studies. You're bad bachelor's, but hey, if you do a master's, you'll make money. You can get a job with your master's, get a PhD
Hmm.
in gender studies. And we know, guys, the only thing that you can do with that degree is teach other morons dumb enough to major in that degree.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so I told my story about, kind of I went to undergrad, grad school, and then got to a position where my money's good. But why don't you guys I mean, whoever wants to go first, kind of talk about your story and just what made you decide to get into where you're at, what made you not consider college anymore. Just give a little brief summary of your school experience and your work experience.
Okay, I can start it off. So after graduating high school, I didn't really so there was a big push for me to go to college from obviously like my family and teachers, et cetera, et cetera. The big notion of, oh, if you don't get a college degree, you're going to be flipping burgers at McDonald's making, $10 or whatever. Um, but I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. Matter of fact, I knew that I didn't want to go to school at all, actually, at least not yet. And my thought was, if I'm going to go and major in something that I'm not interested in and then be stuck with debt and then be stuck in that field because I have debt from going to school for it, what's the point, right?
Isn't it
So
crazy that like they expect you to pay money to while you're figuring out what you want to do? Isn't that nuts?
exactly. It's a crime almost, when you
Yeah.
think about it. So I mean, so I said, you know what, screw that. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And then, as I was in the Marine Corps, that's like my first introduction to real life, right? Because you're in high school, that's not really real life. You don't have the same things, you don't have bills, you don't have like you don't really socialize with anybody other than your classmates, right? But these are people from all walks of life, and you learn a lot of things from people, from all ages and backgrounds. So I feel like that was one of the best choices I made in my life, dude, because I gained so much experience and just life experience at
Mhm.
that. When I got out of the military, I was kind of like in this lost phase of, okay, what do I do now? Like they were always talking about, oh, you got to use your GI Bill and go to school and do that. So it's back to that, okay, cool. You finish your military now, go to school again, right? So I didn't do that still. So like I jumped between like small job to small job every now and then trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I said, you know what, screw it. Let me try the school thing and see what happens, right? So I majored in mechanical engineering for a little bit, and it was I'm telling you, it had to be like the second semester that I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I dropped out. Like why in the world do I need, French, like two French classes
Oh,
to be a mechanical engineer?
the
Like all the
electives, yeah, the
yeah,
electives.
all the electives. Oh, you have to have this many human resource, or human whatever electives, like humanities electives, and oh, you have to do what? There was so many ridiculous
Yeah,
classes that had
yeah.
nothing to
What
do with
is
the
it?
field. And it,
Philosophy,
yeah, like
astronomy.
why do I need astronomy to be a mechanical engineer? Do I look at the stars? It made no sense. That's when I realized this college thing is a scam. It's literally a scam. So I said, all right, screw that. And then I dropped out. I said, you know what? I'm gonna start making money. I'm gonna start doing something. I have to start now though. Okay. So um what I did was I entered an apprenticeship to be an electrician. Okay. And so for those of you who aren't aware of trade jobs and stuff like that, when you enter an apprenticeship, they'll send you to a school that teaches you how to do your job essentially while you're also working for the company and acting as like a year 1 to 4 apprentice. So you'll be working and you'll also be taking classes after work a couple days a week. Now this is the thing, right, guys? Especially younger guys. If you go this route, just know, especially for the electrician and plumbers, okay, you'll be making an outstanding amount of money as you progress. And the base pay for the first year apprentice is already exceptionally high. Okay. Like
Mhm.
more than some of these people make coming out of college. Like, you come out of college trying to be a teacher, you'll make more as an apprentice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
facts.
without 4 years of debt. Okay. But anyway, so I did that for a little bit. now, mind you, I quit that job because I felt like I it wasn't really for me, and I had a different calling kind of. So that is a good route to go to. Just because I quit it doesn't mean it's not a good route. That
But
is a
you were
good route to
getting
go to.
paid, right? To like
Oh my
learn. You were
gosh,
getting paid to
absolutely.
learn instead of going
And
to
it,
college where you had to pay to try
yup,
things. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly. You're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time and your money. You're literally getting paid to learn. Okay, so it's a ridiculously like cost to benefit ratio wise, it's all benefit. Um, and you're also getting like experience, work experience, things you can put on your resume. Okay, and then after that, after I quit that, I joined the fire department. And it's similar in that case, right? And like, especially my military guys, man, don't think, oh well, I'm gonna waste my GI Bill if I don't go to school. That's not the case. Okay, you do these things. You say you join the fire department or police or whatever, right? For the fire department, well, at least my fire department, they pay you to go to the academy to learn how to be a firefighter, right? And on top of that, you can double down. And since it's accredited by mine is accredited by the local university, you can use your GI Bill while you're in the academy and gain the benefits, the money, the BAH from the GI Bill on
Oh
top of
wow, I didn't
the
know
income
that.
that you're bringing. So that's an extra like thousand something a month. You know what I'm saying? Or like every paycheck. I'm sorry, that you'll be getting on top of your regular paycheck. So
Mm,
there are these things that you can do aside from college. It's possible. I'm telling you. Yeah,
wow.
that's my background. That's my little spiel.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Next up.
Yeah, so mine is a bit different. I grew up in Ethiopia, and I graduated high school in Ethiopia. And from from a family that is very keen about education, it wasn't an option for me not to go to college. So right after high school, I started to go to college for a civil engineer, because I figured in Ethiopia, the hot market at that time was becoming a contractor, a civil engineer.
Oh really?
Yeah, you make a lot of money uh, in Ethiopia at that time if you have a civil engineering degree, and you don't even have to work. Like you can rent your license and make a decent money at that time. So I started as a civil engineer, but I didn't have the interest. So after the first semester, I dropped out. Then my parents understand that I don't have interest in going to college, so they put me into a vocational, a trade college, and there I started learning woodwork and metalwork, right?
Okay.
So I did 2 years, and I think it was after the first year, I already started making money. And mind you, I don't want to be a carpenter or anything like that. It's just that I have to do it. So I figured it would be easy to just start your own woodwork shop, and you can make a lot of money. And I just start doing that, and start making money right away. So I learned how to make money, uh, doing woodworking and stuff. So I had my own shop when I was 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was doing pretty good, right? But then I always so my dad is an electrical engineer, and the first time I when I touched a computer was I was I don't know, maybe 8 or something. And I was very excited about computers. The Hacker was one of my favorite movies and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
I figured okay, I need
Oh
to learn
snap!
to.
Hackers, dude. I remember that movie. When was the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
time you guys, dude? Drop in the comments. The last time that you even heard about hackers, dude. Kane,
Yeah.
Kane, have you ever even heard of the movie Hackers?
I think that's before my time, buddy.
I guess we're old heads, right now. Dang.
Yeah, man.
Oh, anyways, you were saying?
So then I went back to college and I started studying computer science. So while I was doing computer science, I wasn't doing it for the money. Like at that time, I was making more money than anybody who has a college degree, like even a master's, right? So it wasn't for the money; it was for my interest. So like I did 4 years of that, but I was just learning all the computer stuff. I wasn't doing any of it, so I didn't graduate. And what I learned is like, so basically, what I was doing is like, if I take like for example, you take computer programming. So I just changed that into like a business, or like I try to make money out of it. When I take A plus, so I started doing computer repairs. So like I become the town computer repair guy. So people would come and like ask me to repair the computer. So I started making off of more money out of that. And at that time, I was like making more money than like what I would make if I graduate and get a job, right?
That's
So yeah. So I figured, early that what I wanted to do. But the college, like all the getting hired and all that stuff didn't make sense, because when like at that time, if you have a college degree in computer science, you would make 2,000 Ethiopian, which translate to about $50 a month.
Whew.
Yeah, and I was already making triple that. I mean, the cost of living is way low than it is here. So anyways, fast forward, I came to the United States, and I started out like everybody else. You start doing like minimum wage jobs, and that wasn't enough. That wasn't what I wanted to do. So I started researching, and then I had like family members that do computer networking, do programming and all that stuff.
So
And I
basically,
started
that's a
asking,
whole IT influence on your family side, then, huh?
yeah, yes. So like I started asking, like, so at that time, when I came to the United States, basically my first thought was like, okay, if I want to make it here, I need to have like a college degree. And so what I was thinking is like, okay, if I'm going to college, like maybe I'll do medical school, or I'll become like an electrical engineer or something, right? So, but when I do research, and like family members and stuff, like experiences, right? So they were like, hey, you can do like a 3 months, a 6 months certification in like Cisco or Microsoft, or programming, and you can make a lot of money. And I was like, really? Okay. So I just started like doing certification. And I remember like I was doing a Cisco certification, and even before I finished the certification,
I just want to stop you here real fast, guys. So do you see? This is what I like to call an aha moment. Someone dropped him some knowledge and said, "Look, you can make money doing this." And at that moment, he could have said, I'm going to listen to this person, or been hard headed and said that's bullshit. And you know what? This is why, you guys, you got to always be open minded. You got to always listen to the people around you and take the knowledge that you can from them. You got to chew the meat and spit out the bone. There's tons of other people out there who probably had the same moment that Dodd did, who just said, "Oh, this person just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about," and they're still flipping burgers at Burger King. So go on.
Yeah, so I started studying, and even before I finished my certification, I got a job, and it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money than I expected. So that was like that was a drive, and I've been doing it since then, and I remember like I felt like it wasn't even enough. So like I keep like researching and doing more studies and all that stuff, and I just follow the trend. You know, there's like a lot of resources uh out there, like if you're really looking, right? So you know, I keep doing this, and I remember so this is my first job, and I was in that position for like 8 months, and then I took a chance and took a higher position in the same company. I stayed there for a year and I left. And mind you, because I keep doing these researches and I keep updating myself.
So you look for like trends in IT, like cybersecurity might be the new thing, or network engineering might be the new thing, right? So you're always,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, like in IT, name a position and I had it. Right. So for the past 8 years, I've changed positions um about 10 times.
Wow.
I remember in 2020, this is actually very important. In 2020, in that year alone, when the economy was bad and people were getting laid off, right?
Mhm.
I had 5 offers and I changed 5 positions.
Wow. So you change jobs like you change underwear.
Yeah, exactly. Like so, you know the crazy thing is like there is a lot of jobs out here that companies are trying to fill, and because the shortage of
IT people, just like in
IT
general.
IT people, they
Didn't you
offer you.
say that they have to like? There's so few IT guys they have to import them from like India and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Wow.
most companies actually outsource some of the jobs.
Wow.
Like for example, in Washington D.C., let's just take for example just cybersecurity.
Mhm.
There is 4 jobs for one person right now,
Wow.
right? So like you can just drop whatever you're doing right now, and you can go on like udemy.com or these online sites that offer courses. You can take those courses. It probably take you from 3 months to 6 months, and in just 6 months you could get a job that pays 6 figures. As
Wow.
simple as that, without prior experience.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, so let's put this into perspective. Like starting general practitioners, like starting doctors make like 90, 100, 120,000. Starting lawyers make 89, 90,000. So you're trying to tell me that you can get a job with IT certifications and no degree making 6 figures in 6 to 8 months.
Yes, and
That's crazy.
let
Guys,
me tell you
guys,
something.
do you hear that? Do you hear what he just said? Do you hear that? And this is coming from a professional in the field with how many years of experience do you have, Don?
10 years.
10 years, 10-year IT professional saying that this is possible. So why would any knucklehead in their right mind go to college and when they can just do this? I just don't understand. Keep going.
So let me tell you a story. I got into a car accident one time, and I hired a lawyer, right? So he was taking information, you know, like you get paid for work time missed and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So he was asking me how much I made, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm in the wrong field." That's what he said,
Oh
and he's
wow.
a lawyer. Okay, so
so I guess what this all boils down to, you guys, is just cost benefit, right? Is ROI, return on investment. And do you guys honestly, I mean, let's just rule out science, technology, engineering, math, right? Law, medical school. Do you think there's any reason, knowing what you know, for any 18, 19, 20, 21-year old man to go to college these days?
Man, like I said, aside from that, from those subjects, aside from the STEM subjects, I don't think so. Like unless you come from a very wealthy background and you already
Oh
have
yeah,
like
oh yeah,
everything set
and
up,
your
you
rich
know?
daddy can pay
Yeah.
for your degree. You just go
Yeah.
and just smash chicks for 4 years, and then
Yeah,
go home and
smash
like work for
chicks,
your
do whatever
daddy's
you want.
business.
Yup, yup. And then you're gonna inherit the business when he's gone. If that's the case, and you want to learn about French poetry, man, go ahead. But other than that, if you don't come from that kind of background, I absolutely don't believe college is necessary.
Nope, nope, I don't believe it either.
You might add business schools
You know what?
to the list, you know.
I would say finance and accounting, but business is not the same anymore. See, business back in the
Mhm.
80s, if you did your bachelor's in business administration, it meant something. But now, yeah, it doesn't really mean much. You can't make much because it's so broad, and then so many people went into business degrees. Even MBAs don't really mean it as much. A lot of people, they will major in something. So like let's just say that I major in in microbiology, right? And I want to start
Mm.
my own biotech firm. Then I'll do an MBA also on top of that. But you guys will be shocked at how an MBA really doesn't mean much. And then a degree in business administration doesn't, it's almost as worthless as communications, political science, sociology, psychology. What's the other one? Liberal arts. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, and believe it or not, women major in what are the big ones, guys? Political science, sociology,
Oh, there it is. Yep.
psychology, social work, communications, business, and there's one more that I'm missing. Criminal justice. Those are the ones. And like I said, they cost just as much as engineering degree, but you can't make any money. Name any job that you can get with a bachelor's in criminal justice or criminology. And you might say, oh, I can be a cop, but there's a lot of places where you don't even need a degree to be a cop anymore.
Yep.
So what's the point? You know?
Yeah,
So,
the only thing I would say is this. Um, with these courses that you just mentioned, and it's on an individual basis, right? If your plan is to make a business out of it, like if you have a vision, you can turn that education into a business. Go for it. But if your goal is to get employment, then I don't think that, like, you need to have another means to make money.
yeah, and
You know what I
oftentimes
mean?
though, people they just think like any degree is a degree and I'm going to make money, and it's just not the case. I mean, I know more than a few people that majored in criminal justice or whatever. Or how about this? And we can move on topics here. If you're going to
Yeah.
enter into a psychology field or a counseling field or even something like criminology or whatever, that's a really competitive field. So you have to know, like for instance, let's just say that I major in criminal justice. If I want to make any money, I have to like move to DC and work for the CIA, work for the FBI. You know what I'm saying? Because working as a sheriff's deputy is not going to get me to where I want to go. But there's a lot of people that are competing for those jobs. People who are in
Yes.
social work. You can lead there's nonprofits or there's federal agencies that'll pay social workers a lot of money, but you have to make that choice. You got to make the sacrifice. For instance, I know a girl who is a head social worker for an Indian tribe. She makes, a couple $100,000 a year doing this, but she had to move. She had to, be on, drive to that reservation. She had to do all this stuff because she's in a field where a lot of people are in it, but you have to really go all out to make the money. I think that people, they're lazy because they're going into an easy degree, and they're lazy because they don't feel like they have to work. They feel entitled to success because they have a degree. So we're gonna switch topics, guys. Do you have anything else to add before we move on?
No, that's about it for me.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna check out another clip here, and this is a girl talking about her student loans. So let's just jump into this. I'll try not to make this too long, and let's see what we can do.
18 will affect the next decade of their life. You know, just girly things. Let's start off at the beginning. A little backstory. I just graduated in May from Pennsylvania State University. Penn State is an awesome school. I had a great experience. I loved it.
And just to stop it here, so for those who don't know, Penn State, so we're on the East Coast, guys, right? So we all know Penn State. Penn State is one of the most expensive state schools there is.
Yep.
It costs an arm and a leg to go there. And then props to her because it's really hard to get in. But let's get back into it.
It would be easier to talk about this if I hated it, because then I'd be like, oh, wasn't worth it. And to an extent, it wasn't worth it, but also that like breaks my heart to think that, because I met some of like the best friends I have. I wouldn't be who I am today without it. So in a way, I don't regret it, but also in a way, wow, that was so dumb. So originally the plan was to major in forensic science, master's degree in forensic psychology, become a forensic psychologist, you know, work with murders and things like that. Like that would have been fun, right?
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Psych, I got to school, realized that I suck at chemistry. Really need chemistry if you're gonna be a biology, forensic science mate, you know? Apparently, didn't think that through. Don't know why I thought it would be a good idea, especially because, can you see my knee that I'm not wearing, like, actual bottoms? Like, I'm
We can
wearing
skip this
very
part.
selective across the country. Like, there's not a lot of schools that have this major. I was like, well, if there's not a lot of schools that have this major, and you have to go to a good forensic science school to get a job in forensic science after the fact, I might as well go to the best in the country. Penn State and Texas A&M are tied for #1 in the country for forensic science. So I was like, perfect. I'll go to Penn State because it gives you the option to start off on a branch campus and then transfer into the main campus. You know, I'm being smart about it, like starting off on a branch campus, it's cheaper, right? So cheap. Yeah, $100,000 in debt, $155,000 in debt. Actually, I wish it was $100,000 in debt, but that was the plan. And then I got there and then I was like, yikes, this ain't it.
This isn't it.
And I wish so badly I had listened to everyone that was like, don't pick a school based on your major. It saved me so much heartache, but here I am now. My payments start next month and I'm freaking out about it. I know I'm smiling right now, but it's to that point where I'm kind of just numb. Oh my God, kids for me. Despite the last video that I made 10 minutes ago, just bawling my eyes out. I have 16 loans, 8 of which are federal loans, and I'm not really worried about those. I have 8 that are private, and those suck because they're 10 to 12% interest.
So let's just stop there, guys.
Ooh,
So she has
private
this debt, right? And the private loans. See, Biden has the student loan pause. So her interest on the private loans is still going. She's still making payments too. The federal ones may have been paused, but the private ones are still going. And they're, what's she say, 10 to 12% interest.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? Let's jump back into it.
Which is insane. If you ask literally anybody outside of the US, they would think that that's not real. Like they wouldn't believe you because that's just immoral for a government to be okay with private lenders charging you 10 to 12% interest. It's fine, I'm fine. And I've checked the minimum loan payments for 2 loans, 2 out of the 8. And one is 500 and some change, and the other is
Oh
almost
my God.
I'm too scared to check the rest of them. And it's kind of just like one of those things where it's like, if something's super overwhelming and every single time you think about it, you cry your eyes out, and like every time someone brings it up and start freaking out, you do the only thing that you know will make you not cry, which is ignoring.
Boom, boom, right there.
Ignoring the
Right
problem.
there.
Here we go
Guys,
again.
oh
okay?
yeah, here's the solution. Let's fucking ignore it.
Yep. Yep. 8 federal student loans, she said. Jeez. And then the privates too. So she checked one of them. She checked one loan
Yep.
and realized it was $500 monthly.
And here's the thing, guys. And we'll watch like another minute and a half of this. This girl, she's not a bad looking chick. She seems bubbly and nice. This is the type of chick that you would meet around the DMV. You know what I'm saying? You're out at the bar chilling, and you see her, and you guys start talking. You start rapping. That's how it happened. And 6, 7 months later, you guys are starting to get serious, and all of a sudden, this comes out. All of this drama, all of this extra effort comes out. And what are you supposed to do as a guy?
Exactly. No, you take the blame. Essentially,
yeah. You
decide to
throw
be
the
with her.
smoke bomb and you disappear into the mist. That's what you do. You give her the old Batman. You get out of there, man, because this is just too much emotional effort and bad baggage, and that's just the emotional part, not the financial.
Not the financial. Exactly.
So it's like even the 8 loans, if each are 500, and I think she said 500 is the minimum, that's $4,000.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, she got another 4 federal loans, or more
Private
than that.
loans.
So
yeah.
So like she probably is looking at like $5,000-6,000 in. And she said she was trying to do forensic, some biology forensic or something, right?
Yeah, a forensic
She's trying to get her
psychology.
master's.
Yeah, so forensic psychology, she can do that for way cheaper.
No, she dropped out of that program.
Yeah, even
so she didn't say what she graduated in. It's probably some knuckleheaded degree, but she couldn't do chemistry, so she dropped out of the program.
Yeah, so like here is another thing I wanted to say for people who wanted to go to college, right? Let's say you want to do forensic psychology. You need some type of paper, like a degree or something to get a job, right? But you can do it in a smart way. For example, like you can start out in a community college.
Yeah, or how about this? Hold on, she said that Penn State and Texas A&M had the #1 programs. Go to the number 50 program. Go to Wyoming State. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they call a doctor? Hold on. What do they call a doctor who went to Harvard and a doctor who went to some crappy state school? Doctor.
A doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, she can actually, if she wants to be the top dog in her field, right? Most of these courses from Harvard, from MIT, from Stanford, from all these Ivy League, you can find them online for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like if you're worried about the quality of your education, you can actually put an extra time and be best at it for free. You really don't have to go to like the top schools. I mean, I like, it's not worth it. Like $6,000, because they're not gonna pay you $6,000 more because you went to Penn State.
And this is also how your experience and kind of like your work portfolio would. So if she did do forensic psychology, her casework, like who she's dealing with, and her experience would actually matter more than anything else. But let's just jump back into this, guys, so we can so we don't take too long.
And that's what I've been doing. I've been blatantly ignoring it, and not completely. Like, I have tried to refinance my loans, but I haven't been approved for any of the refinancing of my loans. And I'm hearing my voice crack, and I need to suck that back in, because that crap ain't gonna fly. I've been trying, and nothing is working. And it's really frustrating. And I fell for the glamour of college, of the American college dream of going and finding a job that is high paying and being able to pay it off really quickly. And that's what I was told. I'm a first generation college graduate, so my parents didn't have any experience going into it. My siblings didn't have any experience going into it. So I went into it kind of blind. I filled out all my own FAFSAs. I filled out all the information and did everything on my own. And now, 4 years later, it came and bit me in the butt. And
so she didn't even do her master's, guys. This is undergrad only.
And it didn't really come as a surprise. I knew it was coming. Every single year after I filled out a loan application and I signed the papers, I would cry for like 2 days. But you know, when you're in it and you're graduated and time is a ticking, it hits differently.
Yes, it does. So, guys, what do you think about old Marina here's story? I mean, like I said, I don't look. Ultimately, we make our own decisions, right? And so she has no one to blame but herself. And number two, guys, she went to Penn State, so there's if you can't do forensic psychology, then she should have majored. Penn State's one of the best schools in the country. So she could have said, you know what, maybe I'll do accounting. Maybe I'll do, you know, economics. I don't know, something else. But apparently, I mean, she has indicated that her degree is in anything that she can earn a lot of money in. So, and then the third thing is that, you know, ignoring it is the solution. I mean, she didn't say the solution. She said that it's how she's been handling it. And guys, I mean, imagine meeting, insert any type of girl here and having do you see kind of the anguish in her eyes, the emotional distress she's in. Imagine trying to build a life and a relationship with someone like that. Your thoughts?
They're not ready. They're not like, man, look, this is my belief, right? If you're looking for
Kane can't even get the words out.
I can't, man. I
He's
can't get them
stuttering
out
like
fast
I
enough,
do.
okay? Right. So listen, if you're gonna try to invest in somebody, okay, you have to think about it rationally too, okay? Especially as young men, okay? Look, if you're gonna be with a woman, right? It doesn't matter if she's a 10 out of 10 banger body, right? Super nice, bubbly, cheerful, all of that, right? She has this kind of background like this young lady has, where she's $155,000 in debt, not including the, like, think about that number, okay? Think about that number itself. Now add the 10 to 12% interest on all 8 federal or all 8 federal loans or whatever, and the 4 private loans she also has too. Like that, when men date, this is my strong belief. When men date, we have to think about it financially and psychologically, okay? Is she psychologically ready to be to be committed to you in a relationship? Absolutely not. She's literally breaking down in tears about her life choices she's made so far, and she's ignoring the problems. She's not looking for avenues or if there is an out, honestly. Okay. And on top of that, too, you have to think about it financially, right? She's made an extremely poor financial choice that will affect you directly if you try to invest in this woman and be in a relationship with her. Okay, not even marriage, in a relationship with her. Because guess what? Now you're going to be having to pay for more things. You know what I'm saying? Everything, including stuff for her too, because she can't even afford it. And she's paying more than $4,000 a month. Yeah.
And it's not like you guys can go out and you can have some baller life while she's living on breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like that's just not how most men are. You know what I'm saying? So this is just going to become your problem. And here's the thing. A lot of people now, they're only paying the interest on their, so she would have like a $3,000 or $4,000 a month payments. That's only the interest. That's not on the principal. There's people that have paid the balance of their student loans, and the principal hasn't shifted at all. They've literally paid $100,000 over 20 years, and the original $100,000 is still there. Thoughts?
Yeah, man. So like, I feel like, you know, education has become a business, not building generations or all of that stuff. And it's not to benefit the students. It's actually benefiting the universities and colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, there are people. This is not an issue just for women. There are men who go to law school. There are men who go to medical school and who are struggling financially. I know. I have 2 friends. One is an ER doctor, and one is some type of surgeon. And they were telling me, like, think it was like a year ago that their income has been slashed by half
Yeah, yeah.
due to the pandemic and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And they have a lot of debt. And they're not really happy, and they're looking for other options. So like, even if you are like making a smart decision going to study like engineering and medicine and all that stuff, you still can face these difficulties.
Yes, but
Lawyers,
but the likelihood's a lot less because it doesn't matter what. So I have a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and he has
yeah,
6 figures worth of debt, but he makes 340,000 a year. This is different. So we can't do the whole tit for tat thing because oftentimes,
yeah, but like
listen, hold on, because a woman who's in the same place as a man who goes to school is more likely to be in a low earning skill than a man, right? And that's what I'm saying is, let's just say that you have 100 grand of debt, and some woman does. The likelihood of you making more money, so at some point pay it off, is higher. A lot more women have, because women own the majority of college debt. So statistically, they have more debt with less earnings. So you have these women who are teachers with $200,000 worth of debt, making 50 grand a year. And also, here's another thing you don't understand. The federal government has a public student loan forgiveness program, right? And think of this number, and then we'll get off soon, right? If you work for the federal government or the nonprofit sector for 10 years as a lawyer, a doctor, a professional, they will pay off your loans. So let's just say that Kane is a lawyer, attorney, $200,000. He goes, hey, you know what? I can work for the federal government and they'll pay off my loans. But here's the thing. Lawyers for the government start out as like GS11s making $75,000 a year.
that was my point.
That
was what I was trying to say.
But here's the
all
thing.
lawyers make $300,000.
But here's the thing. So, but people will say, if I work the 10 years, I'll have it paid off. But here's the thing. You should be trying to get your butt to the most highest paying law firm there is, so you can start making 200-300 grand a year. Because it's costing you the extra income too. See, that's the thing about winners.
Here's the thing, right? To get to the top law firms, right? You have to be the top dog. You have to be the top 10% lawyers, right?
Or you got to take the risk and move.
Well, you have that much of debt, so it's going to be really hard to take that risk, right? So, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, I know what you mean, but in this case, for this discussion, I'm saying that this is why your friends who are the surgeons, getting this all back around, that if they would have done what you've done, what Kane's done, and just had a decent to high earning skill with no college debt, they wouldn't have this problem in the first place.
Yes, don't get debt. Don't get in debt.
Yeah, don't get debt, because like this, like we're on C, D, E, and F, and the reason why we've had this podcast is to say A and B. Good skill, good earning. B, no debt equals C, happiness. Right, guys?
Yeah, and if you have the urge to get into debt, and if you have that urge to get a loan, you got to make sure that the loan you're taking is a business loan, that you're going to put it into business, and that money is going to generate money.
And I want to say last but not least too, that counts in your love life, just like this girl who we saw last. Everything in your life, there should be a return on investment. If you've made not going to school, getting a skill, if you've made nothing but sound financial decisions, then in your love life, you should be making sound financial decisions. And Kane, back me up. Dog, back me up. Taking on a woman like this is not a sound financial decision. It's not. It's not.
No, it's not. On that, on everything.
Per word. All right. So, all right, you guys, it's been a good discussion. You guys, any parting thoughts? Quick anything else to my listeners? Anything you guys want to plug or anything?
All right, I've
Just
said it before.
make smart. Yeah, go ahead, man.
You sure? All right,
Yes,
I'll
sir.
jump in.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
jump in. All right. So for my young male listeners, okay, whether you're prior service or not, invest in yourself. Okay, invest in yourself first. Stop chasing these girls. Okay, especially the ones fresh out of college. Okay, that should not be your priority. Get yourself straightened out. Get your finances done. Get that work experience in. Okay, like me and AJ both said, trade jobs, right?
Mhm.
Trade jobs, military, do whatever you need to do. Work on yourself. Be a trucker. They make hundreds of thousands.
Buku
They
bucks,
make six figures.
especially during the pandemic, man. They can't find enough.
Absolutely.
Yep, facts.
Yeah. All right.
Dog, you
So
have any
yeah, that's
final
basically it.
words?
Yes. So for those who planning to go to college, or just getting out of high school, or trying to make a career change, there are a lot of options out there, and the majority of your time would be spent on researching and finding out what is going to work best for you.
Mhm.
But like my advices would be, first and foremost, think everything in terms of business. So your end goal should not be getting an employment. Your end goal should be starting your own business. Your end game should be building assets, and your assets working for you, not working for your skill and time. So, think of like acquiring knowledge in sales, in engineering, and make sure that you don't get into a lot of debt
Mhm.
trying to achieve this. You can make you can make like a 6-figure job, a salary, by just paying a $10 course on Udemy.
It sounds like
So
you have some lessons to teach people about this, man. I'll have to have you back on the show. But hey, man,
like I had over like maybe 40 people that I helped,
Mhm.
that makes between 80 and 120,000 a year.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, for example, like I met this girl on my way from Vegas to DC, and our plane got delayed, and we ended up having a drink. And she asked me what I do, and she got interested in I think she was working in like hospitality management or something, and it wasn't going good for her. And I told her like, hey, you can just, at that time SharePoint was like a hot market, and I told her like, hey, you could do like SharePoint, you could make good amount of money. And she was determined, so she take the SharePoint course. I think it took her like 6 months, and right away she got a job, and I think she started off at like 110.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
up.
so like
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll to have you back on, man. You know what I'm
I would
saying?
love
So
to.
cool. But all right, well, and also too, and you can agree, no, the only person that can start this is yourself. You have to do it yourself, guys. No one's gonna do it for you. Because you know what? The world doesn't owe you a damn thing. So you got to go out and make it happen yourself. So, all right, you guys. This is AJ. Like, subscribe. You guys are the best, and I am out of here.